It's a good fight. I believe it'll be a lot more competitive than the first time around. I believe Alex is a smart fighter. I believe he does make good adjustments. He's always grinding. He's always working. The same can be said for Ankalaev. Ankalaev is a grinder. He's a very gamed opponent, but I believe it's all going to come down to adjustments that Alex makes. The important thing is on Alex to make adjustments, and we're going to see if he can make them.
We're going to see. All the talk was, Alex had some injuries in the first fight and, couldn't really work on the wrestling and just was trying to basically get through the fight. I guess we're going to find out. Look, he's been someone that's stepped up on short notice and taken big money fights and done it, and looked impressive and has got wins. He's, coming off this loss. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't see any reason why he would lie about it. He's someone that's always stepped up and said, I'll fight. Really no excuses in this situation. Just said, hey, there was some injuries I was dealing with and it affected the way that I was able to fight and I want another chance. He's taken his fair time off. Let's see if it made a difference. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, it's a good fight. I mean, I think that's what we thought was going to happen. I think there's been some negotiation problems leading up to this, but it's a good fight. I think it's the rightful fight. I think Pereira did enough as champion. He did enough favors for the UFC. Maybe he laid an egg in their last fight. And he was super busy. He was crazy active, and it seems like that's what they're kind of laying their hat on. That he was just a little overactive, overtrained, had no breaks, and now that this time will be different. I don't know that that's true. Maybe it's the same result, but I think he deserves it. I think he deserves a rematch for sure. So I like that fight.
Absolutely.
Ankalaev's hard to beat, though. God damn, that guy's hard to beat, especially without a strong wrestling game.
I think it will be different in the sense that Alex actually had time off, and he's had time to better prepare, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. Because he fought like 4 times in a year, the year before that or something, I think him losing that fight made him have to dig in more. So I think it will be a different fight. Alex has worked extremely hard and he's very focused. So, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Ankalaev is very good. He's a very good fighter. But, yeah, I guess Alex kind of looked lackluster in the last fight, which is rare. Mm-hmm. He kind of didn't pull the trigger, which is not very common for him. So we'll see.
I really feel like that was Alex having so many fights last year and obligations and travel and all that I feel like that probably played a big factor in why his performance was the way it was against Ankalaev.
Well, supposedly he went into that fight with norovirus and he had a fucked up hand.
I honestly I believe it.
Man, right now and in the first fight, it was the same thing. How good will be Alex Pereira?
Right.
Because in first fight, he didn't attack too much. He was he kept himself a little bit back. So I think even in his best shape, he will win for sure. But let's see. Ankalaev did great work with the catching hands up and down, changing levels. Yeah, he did a great work with Alex. Yeah.
Pereira needs to make sure that he defends the takedown. I think this could be more of a wrestling match. I think so, just because that Russian, he wanted to test his skills on his feet, and he showed that he could punch with them. And I think Alex can do the same thing, and I think he's actually going to wrestle him this time. But that's just me. That's just my opinion. I mean, that would be the smartest thing. I mean, to have longevity in the sport, to sit there and stand toe-to-toe the whole time, your longevity is not going to last a long time. But if you wrestle a lot more, these Russians are tough as hell. They're tough as nails. But, I would like to see Alex come back and win. He deserves it. Chama to him. He's one of the best ever.
I heard that he was hurt on the first fight or something like that. He didn't say anything to me, but I heard that he wasn't 100% on this fight. For sure, Ankalaev is a hard guy to fight because he's a very intelligent guy when he's fighting. So I think the fight will be mostly the same, but I think Alex could pressure a little bit more because now Alex knows that he can defend the takedowns because he defended a lot of takedowns in the first fight. I think right now he can risk to bring more pressure to Ankalaev to find that knockout and all that, and then I think the fight will be better for him after he does that.
No, I think it absolutely is because he's a winner, and I think he's going to learn from that mistake that he made in the first fight. I thought he fought too passively. I thought he spent too much time on the fence. I think this fight he knows, okay, I can't let my back hit the fence. I got to be able to stay off the fence. I got to be able to keep some space, and I think he fights better this time. I think he fights a completely different style. He's going to go out, be more aggressive, and force Magomed Ankalaev to actually back him up and actually have to change directions to come at him.
Yeah, I think for those reasons, him still being hungry, him hopefully being 100% when he steps in there is going to make it a much more interesting fight. I completely agree with Dean that he just never really seemed to get it going. Wasn't the aggressive self that we normally see from from Pereira. So I think it's going to make for a much more entertaining fight between these two because now you've got to get off that fence. You've got to go forward. You've got to try to put your own offense in the face of Ankalaev.
No, he's got to go forward. He's got to go forward and be aggressive. I think that because of Magomed's wrestling, even though he's not a Dagestani powerhouse wrestler, he does have it in his back pocket. I think that caused him to hesitate.
Freeze up. Yeah.
And that allowed Magomed to do his thing. And Magomed's dangerous on the feet as it is. So it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one, you know? And critics out there would say the first time that Pereira fought someone his size, that he encountered problems.
And I was looking at that fight, and I'm very interested in it. I very much am interested in what adjustments that Pereira can make, but I want to juxtapose those also against what I would assume Ankalaev learned. And I know the leading theory is that the rematch can only favor Pereira. I just see that logically as a bit of a push. Whatever it was that Pereira learned or found out, that Ankalaev should be afforded that same assumption.
I think it's much less likely that Ankalaev goes into this rematch and still doesn't get any takedowns than Pereira going into this rematch and stuffing all of the takedowns again. He stuffed all of the takedowns before, and I guess he focused so much on doing so that he did leave openings on the feet. Now, this was a very close fight, I understand. But Alex Pereira on the back foot, little different. When he low kicks off of the lead leg on the back foot while he's circling, it doesn't have the same snap as when he's low kicking off the rear leg, and he's the one who's able to push forward like he did against Yuri Prochazka. And when he's worried about takedowns, he seems to lose a bit of pop in his shots as well. In a very close fight, extremely close fight, adjustments can be made by Pereira, but Ankalaev can chin him as well. So it's going to be a worrying one. It's going to be I don't know who to pick here again. I'm going to have to go with Ankalaev because of how he performed the first time. I think if you can do it once, you can do it again, typically.
And sometimes fighters that have won, they get caught up in what happened in the first fight, and they believe that's going to happen again. Oh, if I just show up and just do the same thing. No. That guy went back to the drawing board. He's reinvented himself a little bit. I haven't seen pictures of Alex since his loss. Nothing. I've seen a couple of videos or interviews that he's done, but since then, remember we used to see sparring sessions with him all the time. We used to see all this other content coming out. Him on roller coasters, him with his kids. We haven't seen anything. That's what gives me a little bit of like he has come back before from knockout losses. He's come back before from losses, and he's had great performances. He is a true pro. He's going to make sure that this thing gets done. He's working on every single thing he needs to do to win this fight.
But Pereira is under a lot of pressure here. He's got to come out. He's got to be aggressive. He's got to go forward. If he's going to get that belt back and get some pride back, he's got to win this fight. Because if he doesn't, this might be the last time we see him fight in the UFC. He's made an absolute fortune. He's left his mark on the sport. But if he beats Magomed Ankalaev, then of course, forget about all those conversations. He's going to be staying in the UFC. And he'll probably fancy his chances against Tom Aspinall at some point down the line.